Hi everyone, it's Kristen, and welcome to our first guest episode of Season 3 of And So the Story Goes. Each guest episode is going to have a different topic, and what better topic to start with than all the incredible opportunities academically, professionally, and personally that students discover while abroad. Today I'm talking to Princess, a Gilman Scholar who studied abroad in Toulouse, France with the CIEE summer program. Enjoy the episode! Hi, Princess. Welcome to And So the Story Goes. Thank you for being here today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Princess. I'm a psychology major and a current senior, and I studied abroad in Toulouse through the CIEE summer program.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to have you here today. Can you share a little bit about yourself and what led you to pursue study abroad?
Okay, so I think I always knew I wanted to study abroad even before I came to college. To be fair, I just wanted a new experience. Although I also had an interest in cross-cultural psychology before coming to college, so that definitely played a major role. And yeah, here I am.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your program, how you chose it, how you chose Toulouse as your host destination?
Okay, so I think in choosing my program, I would say that was one of the more simpler steps. So I had a couple factors that helped me shortlist what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to be in France because I had a bit of a French background, though not substantial, but I felt I could build on that. Then I knew I wanted it to be a study program. So I wanted to study something outside of what I was doing at the U of R. So that was also another factor. Then I also knew that I wanted to do it with CIEE, which is oddly specific, but I don't know, I can't even tell you. I just knew that.
Yeah.
And so it was between Paris, your summer program in Paris, and your summer program in Toulouse. And after doing a lot of research on Toulouse and reading about the dual identity in Toulouse and how the Occitan and French cultures intersect, I felt connected to that.
Yeah.
And Toulouse is also more slow paced. I felt it would really give me time to feel fully immersed in the culture without the pressure of a fast paced environment.
Yeah, Paris is a bit crazy. It's a bit energetic, but Toulouse sounds like a great place. You talked about this dual identity of Toulouse. Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about that? Maybe why you felt connected to that aspect of the city?
Yes. So I'm from Nigeria and I grew up there, but then I came here to the US to study, and I kind of felt that I also embodied that dual identity because it's I have the customs I grew up with in Nigeria, what I'm used to, but I'm also currently trying to adapt here and learn from my current environment. And so seeing Toulouse and seeing how the Occitan culture centered your food, and even I think Toulouse does a better job at trying to preserve that culture. So it's even the walls have signs in both French and Occitan. I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
And I felt I also applied for the Gilman Scholarship, and I felt it would be a good point to make in my Gilman essay.
That's amazing. You mentioned that part of the reason you chose this program is that you wanted to study something new. What was it exactly that you studied? And also, you seem very open to always trying new things even before going abroad. So I was wondering if that openness to new experiences, learning new things, played a big role while you were abroad?
Yeah, I would say it did. I am very open. It's I'm open, but I also know what I like. So it's trying to find a healthy balance between the two things. But then, yes, I was pretty open to going abroad. And I think that allowed me to have a good experience. But then onto the question about what I studied. So right now I'm a psychology major, I'm minoring in biology, and I'm doing a cluster in music. So I kind of wanted to study something that like was not really within my scope of like current studies here at the U of R. And so I took the masterworks in French art, architecture, and I think history. And that was very different
Yeah.
from like anything I've ever studied in general.
Oh, wow.
So I feel like that would be interesting. And then also being open minded, I think played a role in that because I was kind of taking the information I was learning in class as it was without trying to like hyperanalyze it or
Mhm.
I was just kind of interested in the learning person.
Yeah,
So
it's really cool. Um, did you have a specific impactful academic experience while you were abroad, or just like the general learning style? Was it any different from what you were used to at the U of R?
yeah, I would say significantly so. Like here at the U of R, I think most of my classes are within the confinement of a lecture hall.
Yeah.
And so being in Toulouse, I would say like 70% of the learning was done outside through like walking tours. And it's like you're learning about the building and like you're actually seeing
Yeah.
the building
Mhm.
and like the materials and even the artworks. We go to visit a lot of museums and cathedrals and a bunch of historically significant places within, the southern France region. And I think that was it was a different way to learn, but I really appreciated it. And I think it allowed me to understand the content better.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
Um, that just sounds like a really impactful style of learning, to begin with. Just more hands-on,
Yeah.
more interesting even than just like looking at a slideshow or something. So what was your living situation like while you were abroad?
Okay, so I lived with a host family. They were from Cameroon.
Oh, cool.
So it was like really interesting because, you know, our cultures overlapped in so many different ways because I'm Nigerian and like they all look like me. Like
Mhm.
there were a lot of similar dishes. I think honestly I kind of got really lucky in that regard. I guess one, would you like me to talk about like the language?
Yeah, go for it.
So I guess one thing was that like they didn't speak English actually. Well, my host brothers kind of spoke English. They had taught themselves English, but then my host mom didn't really speak English. And I also did not speak French. So I don't know, I think that was very impactful for me, seeing the effort it takes to like maintain a good relationship. Like I think that was a good lesson to learn, especially because we ended up being really close and we still keep in contact till now.
Oh,
So it's just like just seeing how we both like tried our best to understand each other and tried to be very patient in our interactions. Google Translate was also there to help. But then I don't know, still it was a meaningful relationship regardless. And I think one of the highlights of my experience abroad.
that's really great. While you were staying with your host family, did you try any new foods, or was it anything was it different than what you were expecting maybe, or experienced already?
Yeah, I would say so. Like my host mom was vegan
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, so she would like cook. I mean, honestly, she made an effort to like, make meals for me that were vegan, but then I also got the opportunity to try like different vegan meals, vegan burgers. I don't know. Honestly, I would eat anything. I don't even know what it's called. But she would just make me a bowl with like things I've never really tasted before. And I'm like, hey, like it tasted good, so I'm not complaining. But I guess that was something that was definitely different from what I was used to.
Yeah. We talked a little bit already about how open you are to like trying new things and like learning new things. And it's interesting to see how that, even though you said you could be a bit picky sometimes when it comes to food, you were still like, I'm here. Why not try as much as
Right. Like I'm already here.
yeah.
I wouldn't say it. I don't know if I would have tried those muse if I was here. So, but being there, it's like, yeah, might as well.
Yeah. Did you go on any trips during your time abroad, like to any other places?
Yeah, we did take a couple trips. Like we went to Montauban, we went to Albi, we went to Carcassonne, which is one of the oldest medieval like cities in France. I don't think I'll say Europe, but anyways, don't fact check me on that. But I think a memorable trip was me and some of the girls in my program. We went to Perpignan, which was like another like town near Toulouse, and I don't know, it was also a really different experience because like we would wake up, all make breakfast, all sit and eat breakfast. It's like the little mundane things that like
Yeah.
made it memorable. Just like spending that quality time, sleeping, eating, going out together, making plans. I don't know. I think it really allowed us to get closer, like during the trip, and then once we got back to Toulouse, it was like I think we felt a bit more connected than before.
Yeah.
So that's just something I always remember in the trip that I like value, I guess.
That's lovely. Are you still in contact with any of the friends you made while you were there?
I would say like social media is
Yeah.
really helpful. Like I see your Instagram, but then there is one of them that I was closer to, and like it's so funny because we're talking about. So I think she's like, is it Fairport? I don't know where she is, but she's somewhere in New York.
Okay.
And so we're planning a trip to like either meet in New York City or like I go visit her. So I don't know.
That's great. That's so exciting.
Yeah,
Are you excited to see her?
I think I am. Like we haven't really planned the full details, but then I think that would be a really nice thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned earlier that you were a recipient of the Gilman Scholarship. Do you mind telling us a little bit about maybe the application process or like how that helped you while you were abroad?
Is a Gilman. I'll be so honest. I kind of everything about my study abroad felt very like fast paced, very last minute. And so I was like, oh my God, I should definitely apply to Gilman. Like, I don't know, I don't have anything to lose. And I would say I gave myself like a week. I did end up submitting a lot of the materials like maybe the day before. But I gave myself a week to kind of go through the whole application and do all that I needed to do. And I think something I would say was really helpful is like being able to write. There were 3 essays, and through those 3 essays, being able to tell a story that shows how like your unique study abroad experience is going to contribute to like your academic and personal growth, but then also being specific, like not just like, yeah, like I want to go abroad, like, but like I spoke a lot about my dual identity in Toulouse and how I relate to that. Like, I don't know, just little things like that I think help the Gilman application. But hey,
Yeah, definitely. And has your study abroad shaped your future goals, or has it helped you professionally, academically, personally? And also, has the Gilman Scholarship helped you do that as well?
I would say that like, especially in terms of personal growth, I think I learned a lot about myself like while I was abroad, because it's like, when I'm here in Rochester, it's kind of easy to attribute like certain habits or like problems or beliefs to like my environment. I'm like, yeah, it's just because I'm in school and like
Yeah.
my major. And so when I was abroad and taking completely different classes and in a completely new environment, I think it gave me the opportunity to learn about myself in a new context. And I think that was really valuable in allowing me to like kind of, what's the word? Kind of articulate like my future goals and why I'm really interested in studying psychology and why I think I could go into medical school and just stuff like that. So I guess that all ties into the academic and personal. I think learning about myself and learning about like how I function,
Yeah.
how like in different academic contexts, whether it's here at the U of R or in Toulouse. I was like, okay, so I know that like I'm better at this compared to that. I don't know if it was really helpful in providing some clarity
Yeah.
in that regard. But yeah, I don't know if that answered the question.
No, it definitely did. It also sounds like a big part of what you've learned about yourself is like a confidence in yourself and your experiences. Has that confidence maybe inspired you to like want to do more traveling or more studying?
Yeah, I would definitely say that like applying to Gilman and getting Gilman as well as like going abroad and studying abroad and like getting through that experience and coming out perfectly fine. Yeah. I think that gave me a lot of trust in my abilities, but also gave me confidence to pursue like further international study or like just international opportunities in the future, whether it's like Fulbright or whatever. I think it made me more open minded to that idea compared to before.
Yeah.
So
Is there any maybe country that's like next on your list, like a place that you want to go to next, or are you open to just new experiences in general?
honestly, I think I'm open to just new
Yeah.
experiences in general. I actually like have a list and like I think again I'm very big on like taking time, taking my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to rush into anything. But I think if I were to go back, I think I would go back to France.
Yeah.
Just to see more. Like while I was mostly within the southwest France, I never really left that region. So I think I would go back and explore other parts and like see how the culture overlaps or you know.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Mhm.
And is there any advice you would give to students who are thinking about going abroad or who are maybe going abroad very soon?
I think one thing I would say, learn from my mistakes, is like to be comfortable traveling alone. And honestly, I think I would have said I was someone that was comfortable traveling alone. But once I got there and I like met people in my program, it was kind of easy to just be like, yeah, like if no one's, especially in terms of finances and whatever, if no one wants to go to one place, I'm kind of like, yeah, like maybe I shouldn't have to go. Like, I don't know, that would be very expensive, but that would be time consuming. But I think I wish I had explored more
Mm,
on my own. I did explore, but like more.
yeah.
I think I was very limited, especially with my housing. I lived a bit further from everyone else, so I didn't explore as much as I knew that I could. So I guess that's one thing I would say, like get comfortable making experiences for yourself, even in the absence of other people that might feel familiar, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great advice, definitely. Um,
And wait, also journaling. I don't know, sorry, I'm like a very big advocate of journaling, but like reminding myself to stay present, like, because, you know, I don't know, it's very easy to, I guess, get caught up in like everything.
Yeah.
I was taking a really accelerated class, like heavy lectures. So it's just like I would try to at least journal twice a week just to be like, hey, I'm here. This is happening. I'm glad I'm here. And now I think that's been really helpful. Like reading back those entries, I'm like, wow, this did happen. And like, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
yeah, a lot of people who I've talked to studied abroad talk about journaling, and a lot of people wish that they had kept a journal while they were abroad. Do you like look back often on your experiences, or like when you do, like how does it feel to think back? Are you like nostalgic or anything like that?
Yeah, I think I look back often and I'm a very nostalgic person. I think like since I've come back, I've like made a photo book of like like on Canva, you can like kind of make I like it's kind of like a magazine style. I don't
Oh,
know.
I love that.
Just like ways to reflect on my experience and kind of like relieve some of those good moments. I think I'm very big on that. And I also don't want to forget like it's a good way to like remind myself this happened and you're capable of like engaging in similar opportunities in the future, I guess.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you, Princess, for being on the show. Next up, I'll be talking to Senior Michael about his creative experiences in Florence. At the end of each guest episode, I'm going to hand the mic off to another one of our study abroad ambassadors to give you all a travel tip they learned while abroad. To kick things off, here's Jessie, who studied abroad in Hong Kong.
Hi, this is Jessie. One of my tips is to don't be afraid to do things alone. Don't let the lack of people from doing things with you hinder you from making the most of your experience.
Hi, listeners. We'd like to remind you that the opinions expressed by our guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Center for Education Abroad or the University of Rochester. Our podcast aims to foster dialogue, critical thinking, and exploration of various topics related to education abroad. We encourage listeners to consider multiple viewpoints, engage in respectful discourse, and form their own opinions. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our community.